podcast listeners, welcome back. Happy New Year. And before I start, let me ask you a question. When do you stop saying Happy New Year? It's a little bit weird. It's the 12th of January now. When you actually, is there an official day when you turn around and say, all right, Mark, that's enough. We know it's 2019. Stop wishing us Happy New Year. Because if it was me, I'd be doing it till March. So anyway, sidetracked. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2019. Welcome back to the No Limits podcast. What do I want to talk about today? What I want to talk about very quickly is your health and taking responsibility for it and being proactive with it and understanding that a good foundation of health is a good foundation of life, because without your health, you have nothing. And if your health is poor, it's going to affect every other area of your life. And on the other side of the coin, if your health is good, it's equally going to affect every other area of your life, but in a positive way. So your health, no matter what, doesn't matter about money, success, careers, material possessions, spirituality, whatever it is, your health, okay, I'll take that back when I say spirituality, your health, holistically, physically, mentally, and if you're into that, spiritually, is the most important thing. Now, I just want to tell you about a little experience I've had, not just yesterday, but really for the last 12 days of January. Okay, so I like to look at January like I think a lot of people do. It's a new start of the calendar year. You can look at it as a fresh start to bring some more good daily habits into your life, to try and get rid of some bad ones, and to try and move forward with lots of areas of your life. Well, for me in January, I like to look at it as a time to take stock with my health. And I book in certain appointments and meetings and things of that nature to give myself a overall health check. So let me just give you an example of what I mean. This year, I've made it a priority to have at least one physiotherapy session per month. So I'll go in and I'll get needled and I'll get my back massaged, I'll get my arm looked after, make sure that all the areas of my body which are under quite a lot of impact because of my prosthetics get looked after, get treated. So I'm not just training all the time and putting extra stress on them. I'm actually giving them a release and a bit of relief every once and again. So I've done that already this month. I've been in hour-long session, felt fantastic at the end of it. Booked in for my 6 monthly dental check. It might seem a little bit off and a bit weird talking about this, but I booked in for a dental check. Get in there, get a checkup, scale and polish, make sure I've got a clean bill of health, and walk out there starting the new year with that under my belt. Knowing that that's all taken care of and that any issues can get sorted out at the beginning of the year. But yesterday what I did was I drove to Exeter to Nuffield Health, and I had a full head to toe or stump, if you're me, 360 degree health check. Something that I've not done before. I've had similar things done in the past, but nothing as in-depth and as comprehensive as this health check was. Now, it was a little bit pricey. It was over £400, but is that an expense or is that an investment? For me, personally, it's an investment. I mentioned it just now about your health being so important. It's the biggest investment you'll ever make. Spending money on improving your health is always an investment, in my opinion, and it's never, ever an expense. So I want to quickly talk you through what it was that happened. So I went in there and I saw the first doctor. This is a 2-hour health screen with 2 separate doctors. And we went in and, I did a lot of the usual things that I've done at similar screenings like this before. So I peed in a little tube, 20 mils of urine, so they could go and send it off to the lab and get that tested. I had some bloods taken, so they could send that off to the lab and get tested. I did the old lung capacity test where you take 3 deep breaths and you breathe into that tube and by the third one, you're all dizzy and seeing stars, just to check that you've got power in your lungs and there's no abnormalities, and that that your lungs are all working fine. I did something I've not done before, and I'm not going to embarrass myself by trying to know the name of this procedure, but it was where they hook an ECG up to you. They put 2 little sticky pads on your stomach, one on each shoulder, and then a couple around the left-hand side of my chest to check out my heart, make sure there's no abnormalities with my heart, that it's beating right, that everything's ticking over nicely, all the chambers are flowing well, and all that's working well. I had a sensor hooked up to my earlobe, which I'd never done before, and I had to follow a breathing pattern. Breathing in, I think, for 6 seconds, breathing out for 6 seconds for maybe 6 or 7 reps, which was some sort of stress response test, and it measures how quickly you get into a certain stress zone, but how quickly, more importantly, you can get back to a relaxed state and a calm state, which is something that was alien to me, which I'd never done before. I had my spine looked at, which I thought was quite interesting, because being a prosthetic user, I would assume there could be some issues with my spine. I don't get any back pain because of the training that I do and the self-care that I do at home, the stretching and the rehab. And it was great to hear that, my spine is straight, it's strong. I bent over, touched my toes, and all of my readings were within the normal parameters. So that was good. And what else did I do in that first session? I can't remember, but I had a bunch of tests done there. Some I'd done before, some I hadn't. So then I went out to the waiting room, waited for a bit, and then got called in by the second doctor. And she talked through the results of some of the tests slightly, because obviously the blood and the urine had to be sent back to the lab to be tested. They turn it around very, very quickly. And we talked through that. Everything bang on, perfect, absolutely zero abnormalities, all within the normal parameters. Some of them, I was quite proud to see were at the higher end, so all my liver was fine, my kidneys were fine. There was, I noticed straight away on the print off, there were 2 red flags on there, so my eyes immediately go to them. But I listened to the doctor, she's talking through it, and she gets down to the red flags, and she actually said, I noticed that you looked at straight away at the 2 red flags. And one of them said cholesterol, and above it there was one type of cholesterol, and below it there was another type. And fortunately, and this was really cool, the red flag was for good cholesterol. So my good cholesterol is above the normal range, which was a really good thing. The other red flag was just, it said cholesterol, and that's kind of like your average, what your good and bad even out. And because my bad was bang on and my good was above average, the overall reading was above average. So the 2 red flags that I had are actually very, very positive. And then I went on and I had, my ears looked at, my throat looked at. On the ECG thing, I think the cardiogram, whatever it's called, a result that came back, which she was a little bit concerned about, was, I think it was my resting heart rate. Now, if I get this right, it should be between 60 to 90 beats per minute. Mine was 42. Now, that's quite alarming, but the good thing is, apparently, that is because I live a healthy lifestyle and I train regularly and I eat well and I rest properly and I recover properly. And it's just my heart like, yeah, cool. I'm so used to getting my ass whipped in the gym that day to day when you're resting, I'm just chilling. And she said that, if it wasn't for that fact that I trained regularly and kept my fitness up, then that would be a concern. And just to be sure, she sent it off to the heart experts, and they came back and said, no, absolutely fine. They got the old stethoscope out, listened to my breathing in the front, in the back and everywhere, and said it was absolutely fine. I also, gentlemen, important thing, I guess sometimes can be slightly embarrassing, I don't know, but I had the old, the twig and giggleberries looked at. So I had a testicle exam. I thought that I knew how to examine myself properly. Turns out I didn't. I had 50% of it right, but I was shown a new way to do it. And again, thankfully, everything fine. I can't remember the terminology. I think maybe smooth and glassy was what she said, but they're all good. And now, thankfully, I know how to examine myself correctly, which I do regularly. And then there was the option of having a prostate exam. Now, before we went into that, the doctor said, unless there are any concerns, this is not a necessity. Now, personally, I don't like to stick anything up there unless I absolutely have to, or if it's a Saturday night. So we declined. I didn't have to do it. I've got no concerns with that. Nothing abnormal. And I didn't go to get any of these tests done because I had any concerns in the first place, and nothing was abnormal. I literally did this because I want to be responsible, and I want to be proactive, and I want to look after myself. And, I've got 3 children and a wife that rely on me. I wanted to make sure that I'm as healthy as I possibly can be. And do you know what? I came out of that exam, and like I said, it was £400 odd that I spent on this, that I invested. And I came out of it and I thought, do you know what? Best money I've spent in a long time. It's January, it's the start of a new year. I've really pushed myself for the last couple of years, and I was concerned that it might have had a negative effect on my health. But I came out of it yesterday and I felt so good and so elated and so pleased and, actually so proud that I've looked after myself so well, that I got this clean bill of health. And the doctor said, she said, I'm not just pleased with the results, I'm actually very impressed with how you look after yourself, considering, what you've been through and what you have to do on a daily basis, and that you work and that you have children and you still find time to train. You are responsible with what you eat. You don't drink very much. Very rarely at all do I drink. Don't smoke. Don't do any of that stuff. She said, I'm actually impressed. And for someone like that to say that to me, it's like getting a gold star at school, I guess, or an A star in an exam. I just felt really, really proud. So, guys, this was just, I just really, really felt the need to share this with you guys and to try and encourage you all to be proactive and responsible with your health. It's so easy nowadays to reach for the 99p cheeseburger, or to not go to the gym when you've had a rough day at work and to reach for that bottle of wine, or to just fall into that trap of, work, go home, do nothing, or whatever it is. And I know everyone is busy and everyone has responsibilities. I'm the same. I have children, like I said, 3 of them. I do the school runs. I work for the Royal Marines charity. I train an average of 4 times a week, never any less than that, unless I'm unbelievably busy and I'm out the country or whatever. But please, guys, it's a new year, it's a new start. Look after your health. Your body is the only place you have to live. Keep it healthy, look after it, and it will, I promise you, it will look after you. Guys, that's it. Again, Happy New Year. I hope you've had a great start to the new year so far. Long may that continue if you have. If you haven't, shake it off, refocus, and then come at it again strong. It's only the beginning of the year. It's never too late to start again. Just get stuck in there. Ignore those excuses. Ignore the negativity. Get out there and make it happen. I'm about to enjoy some downtime. I'm going to go watch my son play football and then spend the rest of the day chilling out with friends and family. And although I just talked about health and fitness and, that I don't go out drinking and partying, I am considering calling the boys and seeing if anyone wants to go out for a couple of beers tonight, because one of the things that I've committed to this year is to relaxing a bit more and having a bit more fun. So we'll see how that pans out. I expect I'll probably sit at home watching Marvel movies or doing something with the family, but I'm committed to having some fun and more relaxation this year. Guys, love you all. As always, thank you for your support. Mark out.